Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Forward and Faith YouTube channel. This channel promotes motivation and faith at the same time. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching again. Today, we are going to talk about how do we cope during the current COVID-19 pandemic, which has impacted each and every one of us, or at least most of us. Everyone, in their own way, has been impacted by this pandemic, whether they are rich, whether they are poor, whether they are middle class. Now let us learn how do we cope with this pandemic well. First way is keeping in touch. It's very important that we keep in touch with those whom we know, those who are dear and near to us, our family. For those of us who live with our family, keep them close. And for those of them who are far from their family or overseas at the moment, keep in touch with all the means of social media available today. We have video calling available, we have chatting available. There are various means of keeping in touch. Keep your neighbors close. Know your community around you and keep abreast with what's happening around you. It's very important that we are aware of our neighbors and be empathetic and be supportive to each other. Secondly, maintaining physical fitness and healthy habits. I cannot stress this enough, and physical health is something that can really uplift someone, not only physically but mentally as well. Keeping healthy habits is really important during this pandemic. You want to keep your immune systems up. You don't want to be slave to drinking or drugs during this time. It's good in general as well not to be addicted to such habits. Doing home workouts as well is really easy these days. You can just follow a good workout on YouTube as well. You don't necessarily have to go to the gym if you can't. Many places you may not be able to access the gym at the moment, so you can easily follow some home workout programs. So please keep that in mind. Health is wealth at all times for you. Thirdly, developing a new skill or a hobby. Now, when we are homebound, for example, or many of us may not be able to really go outside if we're really affected badly with this pandemic, a good way of coping is by developing a new skill, for example, learning a musical instrument. I like personally learning the guitar and I'm working on it, so that really keeps me going. It's a good thing to even develop a new hobby if you like. You can try maybe reading a new book if you like, or maybe watch an interesting podcast, listen to an interesting podcast, or watch an interesting YouTube video or an interesting series. There are ways of really upgrading yourself, even though you are not able to perhaps go outside and have a social gathering or a social meeting about particular skills that you may want to develop, but there are all means available today for you to do these. Next, maintaining spiritual health. Do not despair. It's important to keep our spiritual health maintained, whether you believe in God or not. It's important to listen to your soul and nurture it well during this time. Loneliness and despair can really grip anyone during this time, during this pandemic. Many people may not be having hope that things will get better, but have hope, pray, persevere, keep the faith always. I personally am a Roman Catholic. I believe in Jesus, and Jesus has always kept me going. He is always there, and I always believe in Him strongly. Always keep your spiritual health intact and do not lose hope. Do not despair. Do not give in to despair. It is easy to give in to despair, but stay strong. We will overcome this pandemic. Next, is learning to be happy in your own company. Many people today may be alone and away from their family, maybe overseas, and maybe away from their parents, for example, if you're a young student. Well, it's important that you learn to be happy in your own company and know that you're not alone. You have support around you. Make sure that you listen to yourself and make sure that you take care of all your mental needs. It's important to be in touch with one another, whether your friends and family are near or far. Keep in touch with each and every one and make sure that you are having a healthy coping mechanism during this pandemic mentally. Try to pray. Try to understand your own self, your own limits, your own passions. What are your aims, your goals in life? Introspect within. This is the time. Reflect on yourself, your personality, your relationship with your spiritual life, with God. Reflect on how you have been in this past year and how you have coped so far, what mistakes you may have made, whatever you may have done, whatever may have gone wrong, whatever has gone right. Learn from everything. Learn from everything that you are doing and everything you have achieved. Have hope in yourself and know that you can do this. Be happy in your own company. Follow the health regulatory protocols, not just for you, but for others as well. Many a times, I've noticed people who may just flout the rules, for example, by not wearing a mask when they're outside, or by not really following adequate social distancing. It's very easy to flout the rules, but just remember that you're not just doing this for your own health, but you're also doing it for others too. Be considerate towards others. The pandemic has spread very easily, and especially in areas where the population density is really high. It's very important that everyone follow the social distancing protocol, the health regulatory protocols really well. Otherwise, the pandemic keeps getting worse. Be considerate towards your other fellow human beings and citizens, my friends. Be empathetic and look out, especially for the elderly in your community. Today, the most vulnerable to the COVID-19 pandemic are those who are immunocompromised, and that those include mainly the elderly population. Why? Because they have weaker immune systems and they are more susceptible to complications of the COVID-19 virus. Make sure to look out for your neighbors, especially if they are elderly. Be there for them if they need anything. If they, for example, need any of their daily groceries, for example, or if they are in need of any help, be present for them. Be empathetic towards them and don't just look out only for yourself. Of course, we have to be really careful during this time and make sure that we follow all the protocols, but we at the same time should be a good neighbor at all times. Finally, pray, hope, and persevere. There is always a light at the end of the tunnel. It might be looking dim for many of us. We may be wondering, when will this pandemic end? When will things come back to normal? But friends, everything will come back to normal. We need to have hope. We need to pray and we need to reflect on our relationship with God. And God works in mysterious ways, and I feel that God has worked in this way so that we may come back to Him and remember that there is hope in Him alone. My friends, I pray for you all, and I hope you like the content of my video. Please subscribe and like my channel. God bless you all, and I'll see you in another video. Thank you.